What's up, YouTube? Just a quick video to highlight some recent news that I think is relevant to some of the topics I cover here on the channel. Private equity firm KKR is going to purchase WebMD for $2.8 billion as reported on July 21st, 2017. Now, if you've been watching the Worst of the Food Industry series, then you know one of the topics I've covered in the Eric Berg episode is the general trend that consumers are more apt to reach out and seek health advice through the internet than going through their doctors. This trend is basically enunciated by KKR's co-head of technology, Harold Chen, with his quote in this Bloomberg article where he says, "We think healthcare is extremely early in its use of digital media, internet, and mobile technologies to deliver greater information and insight." So the underlying trend away from doctors' offices and towards the internet when it comes to seeking health advice and information is only in its infancy. And as many of you know, WebMD is one of the top search results for pretty much any health-related issue you can think of. Now let's flip back and look at 2014 when KKR purchased Internet Brands. Internet Brands owns Lawyers.com, CarsDirect.com, and ApartmentsRatings.com, and derives a large portion of its revenue from advertising. If I were to characterize this strategy that KKR is using, I would say it's about owning and maintaining the gatekeepers of information, as well as leveraging the big data and associated ad revenue that comes with those gatekeepers and the services they provide. Now I'm about to connect a few dots and show you how there could exist a financial incentive for a company like KKR to moderate and manage the health messages and advice that are most commonly accessible to the general public. Well over 100 million Americans suffer from at least one chronic disease. Now imagine the potential capacity to influence public perception about health and chronic disease when you own an asset that holds the top search engine results on Google for stuff like WebMD does. Let's also note that KKR is the majority stakeholder in a supplement company called Nature's Bounty and Arbor Pharmaceuticals. So I'm not suggesting this is all one big conspiracy by KKR to manage all the information you can access online about chronic diseases or diabetes, but let's just take this a step further and note it that the market for pharmaceutical drugs related to diabetic neuropathy is forecasted to grow in a major way over the next few years. And one of the prominent names operating in the global diabetic neuropathy market is, Arbor Pharmaceuticals, owned by KKR. This gets into another topic that I've covered in the Worst of the Food Industry series, which I like to call the difference between prevention, reversal, and cure of chronic diseases and chronic disease management. There's a big difference. So when you're talking about a search engine optimized asset like WebMD and the power they have to influence public perception, I have a feeling that if you go to their page on diabetes, they're not going to be shouting from the rooftops about the clinical results that Neal Barnard obtained reversing type 2 diabetes with diet alone. And that's the difference, folks. You can be the change if you are willing to make a change in your diet. But if you buy into these top Google result searches, you're not going to get access to that information.